The People's Choice Criterium, a race of 51 kilometres around Rymel Park in Adelaide, opening up a week of racing, culminating in the 6-day Santos Tour Down Under, now in its 15th year. And 19 of the world's best teams competing around the circuit and in front of 109,000 spectators. Field rolling away, facing up to 30 laps of a 1.7 kilometre circuit. 4 sprints along the way, and an anticipated big sprint for the final prize. All of the winners of the past 3 years are present in the peloton. This an hors d'oeuvre to the upcoming Santos Tour Down Under, which will start 48 hours after the finish. From the flag, 2 riders breaking clear: Jens Voigt of Germany and Team Radio Shack, and Zak Dempsey riding for the Uni SA national Australian team. For a while it looked as though they might stay away for the whole race, but the peloton eventually began to reel them in. Concentration by 2 of the top teams with big sprinters on the front. Argus Shimano, who had a main sprinter in Marcel Kittel, and the other rider on the team, Andre Greipel of Lotto Belisol. His team were chasing too. As the laps ticked by, it was Zak Dempsey who was taking out the prizes along the way. Then the peloton turned on the style for the large crowd as they began to hit speeds of 60 and 65 kilometres an hour. The long thin line was spelling doom for the 2 riders in the escape. But even so, Zak Dempsey was still feeling frisky. Another lap prize in his favour. Voigt, at 41 years of age, the oldest cyclist in the race, but you'd never have guessed it from the way he was riding today. Around the back of the circuit again, the laps were ticking away, and so too were the prizes. This was the 3rd sprint of the day, and again that Zak Dempsey was not sharing it with his breakaway companion. The gap had gone up to more than a minute. The peloton, always under the control of the Lotto Belisol riders, Olivier Kaizen on the front here, and the Argus Shimano team, were determined not to allow these 2 riders too much leeway. The 4th and final sprint of the day, at the end of lap 20 of 30, Dempsey had completed all 4 sprint wins, but the peloton now were right behind. 9 laps left to go, and the field was all together. And at these sort of speeds, there was not going to be anybody else breaking away from the head of this field. The teams now were working for the day's win. Not part of the actual 6-day stage race, which would start in just 48 hours, this would be a case of winner take all. And there was a lot of sprinters, like number 4 on the left of our picture, Matthew Goss, a former winner of this race, who was very anxious to get in on the action. 4th wheel here, but the other riders were all the lead-out men of Andre Greipel, and as they approached the finish, 7 riders were dragged clear of the field. A massive lead-out by Greg Henderson of the Lotto Belisol team in New Zealand for Andre Greipel. Greipel wasted no time, chased all the way to the line by Matthew Goss. Goss could not get on terms with Andre Greipel, a man who won 28 races a year ago and got his first race here just as he did 1 year ago in South Australia. So victory for Andre Greipel on the eve of the Santos Tour Down Under, and a pretty easy sprint win after a perfect lead out from Greg Henderson. Matthew Goss tried to chase him all the way home. It wasn't to be. So the order of the line was Greipel, followed by Goss, and by Greg Henderson in 3rd place. Boy van Poppel will cross the line in 4th. Olivier Kaizen and Marcel Seeberg have been the 2 hard-working teammates throughout the race, and towards the end it was Henderson who picked up their man, Andre Greipel, and took him to the line. And not surprisingly, Andre Greipel was an extremely happy man at the finish.
Yeah, it's always good to start with a win, and we tried to do the same like last year, and I think we proved it again that with horsepower in our team, and it was like we tried it in training in the last days, and yeah, we stick to our plan, and with everyone in our team did his job, and yeah, it was a nice victory. Yeah.
And certainly no one could argue with that. The People's Choice Credit Union circuit race, watched by over 100,000 people. And again, the winner the same as last year, Andre Greipel, getting across the line in first place. Ahead of the riders now, 6 days on the open roads of South Australia, as the Santos Tour Down Under, in its 15th year, will get underway on Tuesday. But for the moment, we wallow in the success of the German Andre Greipel.